Hey everybody, welcome back. Molly Brown here, 4-H youth educator for Cornell Cooperative Extension. Welcome to What's the Coop? Today we're talking What's the Coop with the Coop. Are you with me? Today we're going to be doing all things coop. We're going to talk nest boxes, roosts, predator protection, feeders, waters, anything else that makes a coop up. This here, I'm going to welcome you to my baby coop. I like to call it the nursery. This is where after our chicks are in the brooder for the first 3 weeks of their life, we move them here to help them grow, get their adult feathers, stay warm and healthy. They'll stay here for about the next year of their life. This is where we always put our baby chicks. This here are some very, very, very happy hens. You know why? Because the weather is finally warm enough to let them outside. So they have been indoors. You can see the little door there. They've been indoors up until the last week or so with heat lamps on them still because it was getting pretty chilly at night. We have now since turned the heat lamps off and are letting them come outside, and they are loving life right now. They are loving it. They're soaking up the sun, and I get to put fun treats in there. We have a little patch of sod that we are letting them munch on with some worms in it and some delicious grass from a tree that we just planted. So that's fun to put in there. We put some hay in there to let them peck around. By the way, my guinea hens say hi, if you're wondering what that noise is in the background. That's our female guinea hen. That's a whole other video for you if you're interested. Anyway, put some hay on the ground, let them pick through it, sift through it. It keeps them entertained, it keeps them happy. Let's talk predator control, predator protection, okay? We've got a few predators that are on top of our list of predators to be worried about. Raccoons, fisher cats, minks, also in the weasel family, foxes, and hawks. Possums are kind of a controversial topic. Some people say they eat them, some people say they don't. We've had possums in our coops. They never ate our chickens. They did eat the eggs, but they didn't pose any threat to our chickens. I'm sure people out there have an opposite reaction to possums, so we won't go there. But we can talk raccoons, we can talk fisher cats. I had a pretty nightmare situation in this coop with fisher cats. Fisher cats climbed up. They ended up ripping the chicken wire away from the wall here and ended up taking out about 6 of my guinea hens when we first had this as a guinea coop. We have this area down here because we had a nightmare situation with some raccoons. Raccoons have long, little, intelligent fingers that can reach right through the chicken wire, and they were able to get to quite a few of our baby chicks when we had them in the summertime and get to them that way. So we now have a barrier around all the bottom of our coops. You'll see in one of the other runs, we have chicken wire lining one of our paneling. I'll show you that when we get there. Hi, sweetheart. You say she's coming to say hi. We have our roosts. If you want to come back in here, we can talk roosts for a little bit. Chickens don't like to be pooped on. Can you blame them? I can't. So what we do is you never put a roost underneath another roost. You line them up. Line them up, line them up, line them up. That way the chickens can be close and comfy and together and tight and keep each other warm. They'll all end up roosting here when the summer nights get a little bit warmer. As for right now, they all go back inside and stay cozy and comfy in there. But that's our roost. This is also our nest box system. This is our first example as what not to really do for a nest box system. We'll show you a way better one in our second coop, but we haven't quite finished this one. So as of right now, you have to go through the front door to access your eggs, where it's way better to not intrude on your chicks or your hens, not to bother them, and be able to get the eggs from the background. So with that, let's head to the next coop. This is our first coop that we ever had designed. We love gable roofs on barns. It's something that my husband's very fond of. I love the look of it. It makes radical, awesome nest boxes. Not as practical for a chicken coop, but I can talk about that when we get a little bit closer. Here we can talk about the really, really awesome nest boxes. We lined them all up along the outside. That way, chickens, well, let's start this way. Chickens are very private when they want to lay their eggs. They want to be quiet, well, other than the fact that they do kind of all gather in one nest box. But besides that, they like it to be private. They don't want a lot of distraction, and they like to keep themselves inside and peaceful to lay their eggs. There she goes, demonstrating. Of course, we've lined all the nest boxes with hay because you don't want your egg to fall down on a hard surface. It'll, of course, crack the egg. So we have the different nest boxes that can be accessed. The chickens come in from the one side. You can access the eggs from the other side. It's awesome. It works out beautifully. We love it. Hey there, rooster. Fertilized eggs. All right, so let's come over this way. In this particular coop, we leave our feed on the outside in a very heavy duty trash can. In this other coop, I'll show you, my husband designed it so it had storage inside. Either way kind of works. This particular coop didn't work out that way. So if you'll check out what we've got going on inside here. My husband swears by this particular antique feeder. He loves it. It's his favorite because the chickens don't get the feed all over the place. They love it. It works out really well. However, we have a lot of chickens, so we needed a lot of feeders. I came up with the idea of using repurposed gutters for feeders. Reuse, recycle, repurpose. Yes! Saving the earth. Using gutters. They work out beautifully. We have them in all of our coops, and the chickens love them so that they have different areas to feed. There is a pecking order when it comes to feeding the chickens. The ones are the more dominant will want to get to the food first. So have different options for feeders all over the place. That way everyone can get access to food. And then the watering system. This particular waterer is one of our favorites. We use it for the summertime. It's a top feeding water, so you can just use a hose and it fills right up instead of the airtight waterer that has the little nozzle. We use those for the winter because these don't work as well for the summer or for the winter. Okay, so let's head to this coop. This is one chicken run. As you can tell, the chickens don't stay in there, but we don't have any protection at the bottom, and we're totally fine with the chickens free ranging. It's how we wanted to raise the chickens, so we're not necessarily as concerned with this coop. This coop, we want to keep them enclosed a little bit more. We have two roosters, a rooster in this coop and a rooster in this coop. When they're both out, they tend to fight. It doesn't seem to be terribly serious, but I would like to avoid it if I can. So this is our very first coop. We love this coop. It's 8 by 10, and we were able to do quite a bit of work to the inside. My handy husband created these awesome nest boxes. We also have the storage for the feeder inside, so everything can get locked inside. But the nest boxes open up. Look at this little treasure! This is exciting. So the nest boxes all open up to the outside, but the chickens access them from the inside. And then they leave you lots and lots of beautiful presents to collect throughout the day. Look at this gorgeous harvest from the ladies today. Thank you, chickens. Thank you. Again, the chickens are starting to roost. If you want to come take a look inside. We talked about it in the last video, how naturally chickens go into their homes at the same time every night. They like to be up high. They like to be on roosts. We repurpose tree logs to make roosts for them. They'll all huddle together, and that's where they're happiest. The one thing I would like to add is that chickens don't see well in nighttime. So they like to be somewhere locked up and tight, because if a predator was to come and attack them at night, they can't see them. They can't defend themselves. They can't protect themselves at all. And so the only way to keep your chickens safe at night is to completely lock them up so there's no access to them at all. We did have an issue with a mink getting into this particular coop, but it's because we ended up leaving this outdoor door open one night and the mink got in. Fortunately, the timing worked out perfect where my husband was doing the chores in the morning and he caught the mink, or it would have probably devastated our entire flock. Minks are ferocious and they love chicken blood. So he was able to save the flock. We lost a few of them, but minks are a huge, huge, huge issue in terms of predator. So this is our outdoor run here. For these chickens, you can see we have it lined with chicken wire here. This keeps most predators out. Make sure you're also digging the chicken wire underneath the ground. That way nothing can burrow underneath and get inside your fencing. So that's it. That's what we've covered. We've talked coops, we've talked roosts, we've talked nest boxes, we've talked water, we've talked food. I think we've done it. I think we've talked about it. Please feel free to message me with any comments. I have loved talking to all of you, seeing pictures of everybody's setups. I love it all. Keep them coming, keep talking, keep messaging me. I have a wonderful source of information with Cornell Cooperative Extension and all of the different extensions throughout the country. I look forward to seeing you next week. Message me with your comments. I'll talk to you soon. Again, Molly Brown with What's the Coop?